What's going on, everyone? As you can probably guess, the stock market made a brand new all-time high yet again, and around 71% of the S&P 500 finished up in the green, which is pretty good to say. But at the same time, guys, there's been some pretty crazy new developments with some of these big tech stocks like Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple, and it might not be in the way that you might think. So in today's video, we have a lot to talk about. We have some interesting things that we haven't covered in quite a while, and of course, we have some pretty good setups for tomorrow as well. But with that being said, Tom, let's not waste any time and let's jump right into it.
Yeah, the stock market made brand new all-time highs, like you said, and there was a big breakout today up above that 544 resistance. We talked about this level a ton over the past week or so, and today we saw the huge breakout. And initially, the market actually hit that level and failed to break out early in the morning, but once it did, it went on a tear, and we saw SPY really rip up all the way up to 548.40. That was one hell of a run today, Mike, and really everybody's like, well, hey, what fueled it? It wasn't Nvidia today. Surprise, surprise. It was actually down in the red, down negative 0.66%. As we can see by the heat map, there was a lot of the other big tech stocks that made up for it, like AVGO or Broadcom, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Meta. It was just such a green day, and even Tesla down here was up 5%. So we saw a lot of great movement across the whole entire market today, besides Nvidia, of course, right? That's like what happened today, Mike. But nonetheless, SPY's doing very well, and congratulations to everybody out there with those long-term accounts, Mike. This is where they start to really look a lot better.
No doubt about that. And as we can see by looking at the chart right here, the market has been making a lot of new all-time highs this year. And the official number as of close today has been 30 times where the market has broken its all-time high this year, which puts 2024 on pace to be one of the best years since 1957 in terms of setting new all-time highs. So to say there's a lot of euphoria in the market right now would definitely be an understatement, but what comes along with euphoria are obviously some interesting things, and that's what brings us into our next point, which is where we have to talk a lot more about what's actually happening with some of these best of the best big tech stocks going forward, like Nvidia, Microsoft, and Apple. So as we can see by the news right here, Nvidia is about to get a 20% weighting and billions of dollars in investor demand, while Apple is getting demoted in one of the biggest tech stock funds out there. So while we can all look at, let's say, stocks or ETFs like SPY and see how like the overall market's doing, there are some investors out there who only like tech stocks and they invest billions and billions of dollars into an ETF like XLK. Basically, with XLK, it has different weightings for different stocks. And we could see as of June 14th, the current weightings were Apple with a 22% weighting, Microsoft with a 22% weighting, and then Nvidia with a 6% weighting. But all of that is about to change very soon. What we can see is that Apple is actually getting a huge haircut where their weighting is going to go from 22% all the way down to 4.5%, while Microsoft will stay basically the same and Nvidia will get a giant boost. Essentially what this means at the end of the day is that there's a lot of money flowing into Nvidia, and a lot of money that would have flown into Apple just get pushed into Nvidia. So we're seeing some like money flowing in different ways that we haven't seen in a while, because as we all know, especially over like the past couple of years, like Apple has been like the number one tech stock, but over like the past like couple recent years, and especially in 2024, Nvidia has been going for that top spot.
It really has, and you can even just tell that on the charts, right? Like, you can go look at a daily chart of Nvidia and look at the past 2 years here on the chart. It's been pretty much straight to the upside. If you actually, like, let's just say do a percentage from like the beginning of 2023 to now, it's up 800%. Like, I really doubt that anything's going to come close to that besides like SMCI or something like that. But like, let's say we take Apple from the beginning of 2023. This one's a pretty good percentage too. Don't get me wrong. It's up 75%. 5%. So it's nothing like Nvidia, right? Nvidia just has that hype and it's like the top dog right now. And we've even been looking at that a lot, Mike, on the market cap list, where we've been seeing Nvidia overtake Apple, and they just keep flip-flopping here in the short term. So it's very interesting to see this weighting change. And one big thing that I saw with this rebalance slash change for XLK is that I saw that no matter what happens, like let's say even if Apple outperforms for 1 quarter, it's going to stay like this no matter what. So like, let's say that Nvidia starts falling, it's still going to be like this until they, rebalance it again. So I found that pretty interesting too.
No doubt. And like another thing worth keeping in mind is, let's say when we look at stocks like Nvidia that have just been rocketing in such a crazy way over the past couple of years, it is so easy to get so euphoric and just to hear every single thing in the media or on YouTube or anywhere else and just want to load up all the way with Nvidia. But one thing to keep in mind is that when you have stocks that do crazy things and go on crazy runs, they also have a lot of volatility, and I don't want to see people get hurt from this. In 2020 and 2021, Tesla kind of had a similar situation. Everyone was loving Tesla more than anything else out there, right? And Tesla had a phenomenal run. But at some point, it does slow down a little bit, and the stock will just start to pull back. And that's only natural and expected. But the key thing to keep in mind is that some people who love to buy in only when things are going great, they don't look forward to say, what will I do if this stock does pull back? So, whether you're looking at Nvidia right now or anything else, just make sure that the moves you make aren't just being made just because the stock's going up. If you want to invest into Nvidia for the long term, then by all means, go for it. But have that mindset where if it falls, you're going to have to fall back to your original thinking of that it's a long-term investment. Whereas if you're only a short-term trader, make sure to remain adaptable no matter what the market situation's like. But again, I just want to throw this reminder out there because I saw people make big mistakes like this in 2020 and 2021, and hopefully a lot of those can be avoided by watching these videos.
Yeah, I really hope that they can. A lot of people were humbled back then, Mike. I know that, Tesla used to be just like this. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, it's never going to fail. Elon's the king. Everything's all sunshine and rainbows, right? Until it's not. Eventually, things caught up to them, right? Eventually you start off, you have that good hype, and the same thing happens to a lot of companies. And like, let's even look at something like Meta, Mike. Meta was fantastic, one of the best stocks out there, and then they even had a bit of a downfall there for about a year. It created a really good buying opportunity, but then again, so many people were buying at the top, they ended up getting wiped out on that drop, and then now they're pissed because the stock's at 500 a few years later, but it's a very interesting thing to go back and compare those, Mike, and that's a very good example with Tesla. I think that Nvidia is kind of in that same boat right now. It's on the way up, and I think it's just a question of like, when's it going to come down? And we saw this happen a lot during the dot-com bubble as well to tons of companies, one of them being Intel.
Alrighty, well, good stuff there, and it's definitely been an interesting past couple of years, especially with this Nvidia price action. But looking at the market right now, Tom, we're right at all-time highs for SPY. If you had to pick just a handful of levels for tomorrow that are the most important, what should we look out for?
Yeah, so as support, yesterday we were watching 544's resistance. Since we broke that today, that now becomes support. So that'll be a major level that I watch over the next couple days. Honestly, if we pull back to there tomorrow, that would be pretty hard. There's a couple levels intraday today that I was watching, and I think that's going to be the main area. But just keep in mind, guys, that there's not like a ton of substance here. We're at new all-time highs. We're in uncharted territory. So I'm looking at 545.50 as a decent intraday support. And then also, I really like this level right around the end of the day where the market closed, like 546.80 to 547. I do like that level as well. Now, as resistance, there's a pretty good double top going on right around 548.40 slash 548.50. So if we can really get a good breakout above there tomorrow, then I think that we could keep looking at the market up. But past there, we're really in uncharted territory. I would say watch 550 after that. That's a nice whole level.
All right, sounds good. Well, Tom, I know this week is pretty boring and lackluster in terms of like the economic schedule and the earnings, but what should we look out for?
Yeah, tomorrow, 1 hour before open, we do have retail sales month over month for May, so that's actually not too bad there. And then there's a ton of Fed speakers. I mean, there's a lot tomorrow, guys. So we might see some pretty insane statements by them. You know, they might talk about rate cuts or something like that. So keep that on the radar for tomorrow. And then, guys, don't forget there's also no trading on Wednesday for Juneteenth. So just keep that in mind. It's also going to be a short week there. And of course, for earnings, there's not too much besides ACB and Smith & Wesson. So that's pretty much it for the rundown there.
All right, well, with that being said, let's jump right into some setups and predictions. A stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is Tesla, and this one actually had a pretty good day today as it popped up by 5%, and Tesla has been kind of stuck in the mud over like the past couple of months, and it's starting to get a little bit of its bullish momentum back, which is a good thing. And looking at Tesla in the short term, like I said, today was a pretty good day, and even like the past couple of days have just been getting better and better for Tesla. So either way, it will be on my radar to the upside for tomorrow, but it's not just a blindly jump in type of play, and no play really is. What I would really like to see with this one is constant pressure on its highs and just meaningful movement. So like, for example, if Tesla only gaps up by, let's say, 0.01% tomorrow, that doesn't show any real momentum or strength. Where on the other hand, if it's up maybe 2 to 3% tomorrow and it's actively putting pressure on its highs, that shows that there's some like real buying pressure there, and that's what I'm ultimately looking for. So either way, Tesla is on my radar to the upside.
Tesla was insane today. That was a crazy 5.3% move. I'll definitely have it on the radar too. I feel like it could maybe come and test that $200 level again here in the short term. With my first play, I'm looking at Palantir, and they're at a pretty big resistance right around $25. They actually somehow moved up more than Tesla today, up 6%, and they are at a major resistance, like I said, at 25. You can see that right here on the book map. For those of you who don't understand book map too much, the red lines are pretty much showing you where the sellers are stacked up in the market, or buyers, right? It'll be buyers if it's underneath, sellers if it's overhead. You can see how there was this big red line ended up getting filled. There was 444,000 volume within that couple seconds there as it filled at 25, and you can see how the sellers really just kept stacking back up there. So if we see a solid breakout tomorrow up above like 25 and even 25.20, which you can see overhead here, then I will look at Palantir to the upside. But shout out to Bookmap here. You know, we wouldn't be able to see these levels like this any other way. So I really do like seeing these on the charts, Mike. And if we do get that breakout, definitely watch for more potential up with Palantir. It has a lot of short-term momentum.
All right, sounds great. Another stock I'm watching pretty closely right now is Intel, and this stock has been going to war with that $30 support level. This stock has been consolidating pretty consistently over the past couple of weeks, and there has been a lot of buying pressure stepping in at this $30 support, and it is holding in a pretty strong way. So it's on my radar for a potential bounce play higher. In terms of resistance, the first major level is right around like this $32.50 area. There's also a pretty big gap all the way up to like $34. So this one has a bunch of resistance overhead, but I'm more so looking to play this potential bounce at support. If it breaks through the support area, that would not be a good sign at all though. And if it does break through that, that'd be a pretty big warning sign. But either way, Intel is on my radar to the upside.
Yeah, I like that $30 support quite a bit too, Mike. I know a lot of people are still into the big money play with Intel from a little while ago, and it's been holding support, but I know that the big money play came back fairly well today. If we continue to see good movement like this will be pretty good for the next couple weeks, so I'll definitely watch it as well. And I'm also looking at Penn, Mike. We've talked a lot about Penn over the past couple weeks. I really like their comeback move today. On Friday, they had a pretty big red candle. Today, they almost came all the way back. They're up 6.44%. Mike, we've had a lot of good moves today, right? Like some of these moves that we've seen are well over 5%, and Penn had a great one. They also had a recent big money play that a lot of people have been watching as well. So I'm going to keep watching Penn up in the short term, just mainly looking for more momentum off of that move today, and maybe a breakout above like 19 to 19.10 over the next couple days.
All right, sounds good. Well, it's now about that time for today's momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Qualcomm to the upside.
QCOM, yeah, these chip stocks were blasting off. Qualcomm's even moving in after hours here. If they break out above 225, then watch them up.
All right, with the next one, we have UAL also to the upside.
Yeah, the airlines even had a good day today. Almost everything was good, right? The SPY did great, but if UAL breaks out above $50.60, then watch it up.
All right, and then with the last one, we have Meta for both directions.
Meta was pretty good too, 0.49%. It definitely wasn't like 6% or anything like that, but if it breaks above 510.50, then keep watching it up. If it ends up pulling back under 499, then watch it down, and that'll be just under that key $500 support.
Sounds good. So we have the downside level for a potential move lower. We have the upside level for a potential move higher. That's with Meta. Don't forget about UAL and QCOM, both of which to the upside tomorrow. If and only if they break through the levels Tom listed, the stronger and more powerful and consistent the price action is, the better the setups become. If these stocks are weak tomorrow and just barely break through the levels, there's no need to try and force a setup there. However, if the setup strongly breaks through the resistance, that shows that the setup is strong and consistent and exactly what you want in terms of a momentum play. So keep that in mind for tomorrow. These three stocks will be on watch for momentum plays. But let's jump right into today's $1 million big money trade with ticker symbol CDNS. So looking at CDNS, this thing has been rocketing over the past couple of years, and even just over like the past couple of weeks, it has shown a lot of great recent bullish price action. Today, the big money put a little bit over $1 million into the 315 strike call options that expire on November 15th of 2024. These call options are already in the money. They have a good amount of time to them, and the stock is gaining some pretty good momentum, which is a great thing to see. There is a decent amount of resistance overhead, though. As we can see, its all-time high is right around that $327 area, so definitely keep that in mind. But assuming it could, respect this resistance area in a pretty good way, this price action can definitely keep up. But either way, keep CDNS on your radar as this big money play just got filled.
Yeah, that's a pretty big one, Mike. It's $1 million. It does expire in November, so you do got to give it a little bit of time. It's about 5 months away from here. So it's the 315 strike, though, which I thought was really good. It's in the money, like you said. I definitely wouldn't think that they're shorting this one, and I love it as it's approaching those highs, right? We've seen so many stocks make new all-time highs this year, and with the SPY continuing up the way it is, I wouldn't be surprised if CDNS started trying to push up. That was a great day today, and if we keep having green days like this out of the market, Mike, we're going to have a lot of stocks making new highs. So I'll definitely be watching CDNS, though. It's a very interesting big money play, and I'd say one of my favorites out of the past few that we've called.
There we go. So either way, keep this one close on watch going forward. But looking at the market right now, obviously there's a lot of euphoria and bullishness across the entire market, but make sure to keep an extra close eye on some of these big tech stocks like Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and others, as you could say the top stocks in the market right now have more of an influence or weighting than top stocks have had in the market over recent history. So just make sure to keep that in mind. Big tech stocks are quite literally running the show right now. And also, we want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Whiskey Lit, in the Stocked Up trading floor. We can see they had a great post in the Profits channel today, and they've been a great member for some time now. So huge shout out to Whiskey Lit. And as we scrolled through even the rest of the Profits channel, there were some pretty big days from multiple people. Like, look at Manny, he crushed it today. So awesome job all around. If you guys want to get in on this short-term price action and short-term opportunities, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You'll get access to all of our bots, all the big money trades. You can chat with Tom and myself all day long and join our weekly live events. It is the place to be if you're into short-term trading, and we have a lot of great educational recordings as well. So check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. But besides that, everyone, let's keep deploying smart, long-term, sustainable trading habits. Let's follow the money, respect stop losses, and trade in a smart and disciplined way, as our habits mean more than any short-term setup ever will. So keep that in mind, and let's have a great rest of the week.